Now to breaking news out of Boston, where the Trump administration was pushing an order to force colleges and universities to hold in-person classes. Their plan had been to revoke the visas given to foreign students unless they're enrolled in in-person classes. Harvard, MIT were among the first in the suit, but a number of others joined in. Moments ago, a federal judge in Boston announced this resolution. Our correspondent Julia Ainsley has covered the Trump administration's immigration policies extensively, and she's with us now with more on this. Julia, what just happened?
Well, Brian, we were dialing in to hear whether or not Judge Burroughs would issue a temporary restraining order on this order from the Trump administration that said that foreign students who are taking their classes exclusively online cannot live in the United States. But she didn't have to give that order, Brian, because she announced at the very beginning that the parties had come to the resolution. And that resolution is that the Trump administration has agreed to rescind that order, that July 6 order that got Harvard, MIT, and 17 states and the District of Columbia, not to mention numerous other universities, up in arms, saying that this would damage their ability to do business and to educate students both here and abroad if they instituted this. And so the government has backed down before a judge even had to get involved. And as you said, I've covered immigration a lot. Usually it takes the court to get involved for the Trump administration to back down. But here I think there was so much pushback that they came to this resolution very early on.
And Julia, to use plain conversational English, was the Trump administration argument since rescinded, look, you can take online courses anywhere. We'd rather not have you here in the interim.
That was the argument. And they also wanted to use this to try to push these schools to reopen, to say if it hurts you badly enough that these students wouldn't be living in the United States and also may make the decision that it's just not worth enrolling at all, then you should reopen your classes. You should hold in-person classes. And we know that that is a major priority of the Trump administration, to open schools K through 12, university and above, in order to restart the economy this fall. But the pushback, I think, was more than they had even predicted, where these schools said that they would lose significant amount of revenue. And not just the schools, Brian, but when 17 states added on to this, you started to look at how these economies would suffer if these students weren't allowed to stay in what a lot of these small towns are like, where they depend entirely on students living there. And for the students themselves, they made the case that it's actually very difficult not to be in the United States. If they go back to countries like China, for example, where they're not able to use search engines the way we are here, if they're trying to dial into a class and what is their time at 1 a.m. in the morning, that could be really difficult. If they don't have the bandwidth, the connectivity to come up online, all of these things could hinder their learning to the point where it might not even be worth enrolling. So rather than the colleges backing down and saying, okay, we'll open up, foreign students come and take these classes in person and live in our communities, instead, the Trump administration backed down. But as we know, there have been just policy after policy during this virus that limits not just illegal, but legal immigration, like these students. So I don't think it's the end for what we might see from this administration on immigration overall during the virus. But on this piece in particular, they've backed down for now.
An important note of caution there from our colleague, Julia Ainsley. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on this breaking news.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.